The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Say it ain't so. New reports have emerged about Mike Vrabel's future. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Frankie V from U Stadium joins us. Let's hit it and get it started.
But I'm just saying here, setting the record straight. This show is about positivity and having a good time and yucking it up. I love this show. I do this shit for free.
Yeah.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jet bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jets fans. Show number 2 on the day. Once again, I want to thank everyone who tunes into the radio. Each weekday this week, I've been on every day, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We did like a 2.5-hour show earlier, and we're back for more, baby. No days off. You guys know I'll continue to pump out as much content as I can during the Jet season. And joining us right now to talk all things Jets and react to a report from Brian Costello, longtime Jets beat reporter from the New York Post, is Frankie V, who is the co-founder of U Stadium. And you also could hear him with Ryan and Kaz on the Gangs All Here podcast with the New York Post. So, Frankie, appreciate you hopping on, my man, and I hope you had a great Christmas.
Jake, I hope you had a great Christmas. Happy holidays. And I am back. It's been a while. Last time I was back, we were going through the whole Robert Saleh stuff. Nice to be back, and keep grinding, man. I see you everywhere, and you're one of the best, dude. You're one of the best.
I appreciate that. Likewise with you. So I'm just going to play the clip. So this is an episode that came out today. I went back and I listened to the full thing. But what got my attention was what Brian Costello said he was hearing in regards to Mike Vrabel's next team he'd be a head coach for. Take a listen once again. This is from the Gangs All Here podcast.
I think Vrabel's heading for the Raiders. That'd be my prediction right now, is that he's going to go to the Raiders, because I think the Tom Brady connection there will be strong. You know, that's where the murmurings in the league have him going to Las Vegas. So I don't think he's going to be with the Jets. I think Brady's going to, it sounds like Brady's going to be heavily involved, like as a more heavily involved than most minority owners. And obviously he loves Mike Vrabel.
Okay. Couple things. One, if Tom Brady ends up screwing the Jets again, as a minority owner, that might be it for me as a Jet fan. That was the first thought I had. And then 2, I'm not so sure just because Brady's involved, that means he's going to go to the Raiders. I understand Costello's not saying he's definitely going there. He's just connecting the dots. Murmurings in the league is what he used. But this comes after just a few days ago, Colin Cowherd said this on his radio show.
I talked to Mike Vrabel. Mike said, he said, I would take the Jets job. I just don't know who the GM would be. I'd have to like the GM.
Does he like the Raiders GM? I mean, I looked at Tom Telesco's background. It's not like there's any Patriot ties or Titans ties or Ohio State ties or Texans ties where Vrabel's been either as a player or a coach. So what's so appealing about the Raiders job? Yeah, Brady's a minority owner, but you look at where they're picking in the draft. Right now, they're not in the top 2 after their win last week. You look at their roster. Are the Raiders really a better job than the Jets? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this report from Kaz?
Well, hear me out, Jake. So this isn't my reporting. This is Brian Kaz, who's been with the team now for almost 15 years, has some ins with the Jets, as you know, has been reporting on them for decade and a half. The thing with this is Mike Vrabel wants a team, based on what Kaz has said, that can be his team.
Right.
From the quarterback to potentially the GM. You don't know what's going to happen with Telesco necessarily. This is a way for him to get back into the NFL and actually have full control like he wants. The Jets, in my opinion, have too many moving parts, and the timing may not work out. The other thing is with the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes, it seems, I know the Raiders right now don't have that pick necessarily in the top 2 or 3. They're actually slated right now at 6. So Shedeur doesn't really seem all that feasible now. But as the process plays itself out, you might be able to move some picks. I know 2 of the teams in the top 5 are playing each other, of which you have Jacksonville and New England that seem to have their quarterback established already. It could make the most sense for Vrabel to say, I have Shedeur, I have my buddy Tom there, I'm in Vegas. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Vegas? You and I, we've partied in Vegas, so we know how great Vegas is. And I think overall, it's a way for him to get back in the league and have full control. I think Pierce is on his way out. You heard the comments, what Pierce had to say about Telesco when they asked him, how do you feel about, winning and not being in this Shedeur sweepstakes or in the top 3 in terms of draft position? What did Antonio Pierce say? Why don't you ask Tom Telesco? One of those 2 is gone. I would say it's Pierce, but I think Vrabel to Vegas makes a ton of sense. I know you like Vrabel for the Jets, and I do too. He's not my top candidate. He's not even in my top 2. We can get into that later, but I think to Vegas makes a bunch of sense, especially with Brady there. I know Brady's just a minority owner, but the control thing, you have a lot of things that you have to rebuild there, and you're not tied to so many different players or situations like you may be in New York. The Garrett Wilson situation's happening. You have Rodgers you have to deal with and see what happens there, Adams, etc. So,
yeah, but doesn't that make the job for the Jets more attractive? Because Mike Vrabel would have seemingly full power to make those decisions, right? If the Jets say to Vrabel, hey, you have to keep Rodgers no matter what, or you have to get rid of him, then sure, it's not what we thought it would be. Like, I think whether you want Rodgers here, for example, or not, the decision should be left to the new regime coming in so everyone is on the same page. Like Woody Johnson, let your football people do their jobs. Let them evaluate and make decisions. With the Raiders, like, the roster's not great. You're in a brutal division with Patrick Mahomes, who's there every year with Andy Reid. Sean Payton, who now has his quarterback in Bo Nix. They're going to be in the playoffs in all likelihood this year. They're ahead of schedule. Harbaugh and the Chargers look to be a playoff team for years to come now. Why would you want to go to that division when you're not even guaranteed right now to, 1, have a quarterback, and 2, we're not talking about Shedeur or Cam Ward the way we've talked about other top quarterbacks. So I don't know. I don't think the Raiders' job's that great. And if it's truly about the GM, what connection does Mike Vrabel have to Tom Telesco?
He doesn't at all. There is no connection there. And I do agree with you as to those teams in their division. That's a brutal division, and you just laid that out perfectly. I couldn't agree more. But I think when you look at this Brady connection, when you look at this city and you look at what they're trying to do there, they're really trying to build something exciting. You know they're going to go for a flashy head coach hire too, and that's where the money comes in. I think they're going to give Vrabel, if Brady gets involved, so much money that he's going to end up being a top paid head coach in the game.
You don't think the Jets would offer that? Like, I think they would.
I don't think as much as Vegas. I think if you get into a bidding war, potentially.
Cheap, though. That was like the whole knock on Mark Davis, that he's cash poor. He didn't have the money in escrow to pay Khalil Mack, which was why they traded him. I don't know. This to me is surprising because I think the Jet job is a better job than the Raider job because the Jets don't have a GM. And if you truly want Mike Vrabel, if he's your number one guy, I just feel like you could say, hey, you want to be comfortable with the GM pick, let us know who you want, and we could try and make that happen for you. And we could give you money. Like, Woody Johnson's never been cheap. He gave Joe Douglas a 6-year deal. I mean, Robert Saleh was one of the highest paid first-time coaches ever. So
until the end of Saleh's deal, though, then he was one of the lowest paid head coaches in football. We're still paying Saleh. We're still paying Douglas.
Yeah, Woody has to pay. He didn't win. You couldn't extend.
Yeah, but
Saleh
now
or
Woody
Douglas.
has to pay a GM. A new GM. We're going to have to pay another offensive coordinator. They're going to have to pay a head coach. I don't think Woody Johnson, I think this assumption, this is my opinion, that Woody Johnson's automatically going to give a head coach all this money and do the same with a GM. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think if there's one team out of the bunch that needs a head coach that wants that splash with Brady there, and I know the Brady thing's overstated, but it is a big variable here. You heard what Kaz said. That's the number one reason that the murmurs around the league are saying that Vegas is Vegas. And I know Mark Davis hasn't been the biggest spender, but I also know that I don't see Antonio Pierce there next year. And if they're going to hire someone, now that Tom's there, it's Vegas. And I think they're going to give Mike Vrabel as much as he wants to go there. I agree with the thought of him being there. I'm not saying these reports say that he's definitely going there. I don't know that. And Kaz said he thinks, but
he said it's murmurs, but it's not like, but I just think these murmurs are people just connecting the dots. Oh, Brady loves Vrabel. Brady's going to be involved in ownership, but it doesn't feel like that would be the choice. If you're Mike Vrabel, you'd want to make. You go to the most difficult division, one of them certainly in the league, without a plan at quarterback. Like Tom Brady's not playing quarterback for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about it this way, though. Let's think about Vrabel coming to the Jets. Is Rodgers going to be here? So you're assuming Rodgers will be here for another year. Vrabel's going to be okay with that.
I think Vrabel would like Rodgers for a year. I do, because I know they have a relationship. Rodgers has talked about it, so I could see Vrabel being, enticed by the Jet job because of the talent and thinking, hey, we could draft a guy and not have to play him if we want to roll with Rodgers for another year.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I don't know if you've ever, I've met Vrabel a few times. Very tough guy, very stern, intense.
Yeah, love that.
I love that too. But this is Rodgers' team. We all see what's going on. This is the Aaron Rodgers show. Is Vrabel ready to do that? I agree with you. In a perfect world, you'd have Aaron playing quarterback one more year. You'd have Vrabel come in here, instill discipline, instill the values needed to actually win. I agree with that. I don't think that perfect world with Vrabel and Rodgers here, if they go on a losing streak of a few games, I think that could potentially implode. And that's not to say that would deter Vrabel from coming here, but I think it's something that if they were to meet or he were to discuss things with Woody, knowing that Rodgers is still around, I think that could affect his want to be the head coach here.
See, I think Woody is going to give power to Vrabel because he'll trust him. And I think Woody cares what the fans think, sometimes to a fault. But I think a lot of Jet fans really are pushing Vrabel as the guy, especially with the comments from the Cowherd show where he said he'd take the job. I feel like Woody's going to pay up. I do. Like, I think if that's their guy, I don't think money's ever been an issue here. I think Woody is looking at it like, I'm 77 years old. We're one of the biggest jokes in all of sports. You establish immediate credibility with your fan base once again if the fan base feels like you hired a competent coach. So I really do think if that's their guy, I mean, you offer him a huge deal, which I don't think will be a problem. Woody has never been cheap when it comes to paying coaches. That's just his history as an owner. And two, I think the Jet job is better than the Raider job. Unless like he loves Tom Telesco for some reason. I don't see that being the best fit for him.
The Jet job is better today based on the rosters. I agree. But if you think about it in a long-term way, in terms of if the Raiders were, and that's why I had brought up on our show, Shedeur Sanders, if they think that Shedeur will be a Raider and they'll do whatever they can to jump up if they even need to draft Shedeur.
So trade a bunch of picks for a guy that they don't know is any good?
I mean, if they think he's good and he wants to go there, I mean, you know how this league is, Jake. I mean, like there may be with Dion involved, they may want to be in Vegas. If Vrabel buys into it and Brady's involved, I mean, those conversations will happen. And I think having a franchise quarterback.
If Vrabel thinks Shedeur is the real deal or Cam Moore, then all right, maybe if like they're in position to get one of them, but I don't know. I don't look at that situation and what he'd be walking into as something that Mike Vrabel would necessarily want, because he may only get one more chance of being a head coach. Like, I feel like you'd want to not put yourself in a division where, best case scenario, you're never going to have a home playoff game. You just know you're always going to be on the road come playoff time. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have never not won the AFC West. Andy Reid has never not won the AFC West predating Patrick Mahomes. I don't see that being a smart football move for Mike Vrabel, who I think is one of the smartest football guys in the league.
No, I agree to an extent. I do. I don't think the Raiders' job is that attractive, if it's even attractive at all. Like, I think it's at the bottom of the list if you go through the teams. But the Shedeur Sanders variable is always going to play into that. The Vegas variable, They're trying to, build that city into a football town. They're doing a bunch of marketing campaigns out there. Brady gets involved. Yeah, it could make sense. But I do agree for the most part that the Jets' job today, considering the roster and what could be, makes probably more sense if you're trying to win in a shorter window, for sure.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Comments, questions, your super chats will cut the line. If you missed the announcement during the first stream today, our grand prize for the next raffle, which we will do when we hit another 50 memberships or so, is this replica Joe Willie Namath Super Bowl III championship ring. I mean, it is legit. I posted pictures in our Discord chat if you're a Patreon member, but it is awesome, and it will look good in your man cave or displaying it somewhere in your home. I don't know. Maybe you could wear it instead of your wedding ring instead. Maybe your wife will be cool with that. But it's here, baby. And it's spectacular. So if you're interested in that, all you need to do is either send a $20 super chat for 5 raffle tickets or gift a membership. And for every membership you gift, you get a raffle ticket right here with your name. It goes in the bucket of champions, and boom, you have a chance to win when we pick some winners. We'll also have some other prizes, including a Wayne Corbett rookie card. That and much more is what we have to be raffling away all month long. Grael became a channel member before the show even started. Boom! Grael, thank you very much for supporting the show. Comments, questions, super chats, they will continue to cut the line. I want to play you something from about, it was either 2 or 3 years ago. We'll know on the clip because it says the date in the corner. This was Aaron Rodgers during an appearance on the Pat McAfee show being asked about Mike Vrabel.
Oh, man. You and Vrabel's good friends, right?
I agree. I happen to agree. Yeah, I like Mike a lot. We talk a good amount during the season. I mean, not really about football at all, just about often how silly this business is and some of the just things that get attention. But I like Mike a lot. I've known him for years. Age has been there with some of the conversations at the Derby over the years. He's a really funny guy. And I just like his personality and the way he is. And obviously he's a great coach. He always has his guys ready to play. They fly around on defense, and they've got to take on his personality, I think.
Yeah, he's an incredible coach.
I mean, I get it. It's a couple of years ago. Rodgers is maybe not the same player he was when that interview happened in 2022. But once again, I do think with the right coach, Mike Vrabel would probably be one of those coaches. I think that would probably want Rodgers back with Adams for one more year, and then maybe they draft someone that doesn't have to play right away. That's what I think Vrabel would be thinking, but who knows? No one can get inside Mike Vrabel's mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for a year, but that's our problem. It's only a year.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, this window is just shutting, Jake. Like, we got to accept it at some point. And I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to fan, etc. This window's shutting, and it might even be shut. I also don't see Aaron being healthy for another full season. He's barely getting by this season. We have to start thinking about 26, 27, 28. I hate saying that, but if you're stuck in mediocrity and next year, if you bring this band back together and you bring even Vrabel and they just get to the playoffs and lose, you're drafting what? 14th, 15th? Where's the quarterback? Who's here? What's the future look like offensively? We got to start getting there. Looking at this offense this year and how we're not able to get Breece the ball in space, how Garrett, that's why when Garrett catches balls, he's constantly spinning because he's so used to having defenders draped all over him. Our tight ends can't get involved. They can't develop. Nobody is developing offensively. Nobody. And that includes the offensive linemen. They can get better. Everyone can get better. This team, in my opinion, should not be so fixated on 25 and should start thinking about the future. I am off I'm off the train for 25. I hate saying it like this, and it sounds like a negative fan, but I want to put this team in a position to finally rebuild and to put ourselves in an actual position in future years, might be 2 years, might be 3, might be 8 years down the line, to win a Super Bowl and to build it the right way. That's our issue. Vrabel, I'm fine with, but I rather have Vrabel where you can get him a quarterback.
Yeah, but how do you do that? That's kind of my thing, right? And I think if Vrabel comes here and he's like, I think we can win next year. I want Rodgers back. I don't think there's like no path to being a playoff team next year and doing what the Bills did a couple of years ago before they became this version of the Bills with Josh Allen. Remember, they had to end the 17-year playoff drought first with Tyrod Taylor. And then they drafted Josh Allen. So to me, there's something to be said for ending that 14-year now playoff drought, getting these guys used to winning instead of just losing 10-plus games every year and everyone unhappy or disgruntled, maybe requesting a trade. Like, I don't rule it out. I totally see your point. You're not looking at Rodgers like you're all in next year to win. But I think he could be the bridge quarterback, especially now that he has basically openly said, if I'm back with the Jets next year, I got to take a pay cut. Me and Devontae got to redo our deal. So, like, that to me is the argument that if Vrabel's here and he hires a real offensive coordinator and Rodgers is on board with that and respects Vrabel, I think there's a path to it. I agree with what you're saying, but like, who's the quarterback next year if not Aaron? Like, you're not going to be able to get your long-term answer at quarterback in all likelihood this year, but maybe you could take a second-round quarterback as like a dart throw, and if you fall out of contention, that guy gets to play next year. And then if it doesn't work out, 2026, you're drafting your quarterback. I don't want to just throw away next year and act like, hey, going 9-8 and getting into the playoffs is nothing. Like, I do think there's value in this team getting the monkey off their back of not making the playoffs since 2010. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree to an extent, but I think we have to start thinking about getting an actual quarterback that can actually be a franchise player. And if you look at 26, they're projecting a bunch of these kids, Archie Manning being, the headliner there. And who knows what's going to happen. Before the year, Quinn Ewers was the hot, topic quarterback, and he's not even projected to go in the top 2 rounds. He'll probably end up being a second rounder, but whatever. But Jake, look at what the Patriots are doing. They and us beating them help them get Drake May. The Commanders getting Jaden Daniels. There is something to be said about a quarterback picked in the top 5 typically has a better hit rate than somebody picked 6 to 10, 11 to 15. I'm
not
sure
for
if
the
you
Jets, not for the Jets.
Yeah, not for us. When we went through the Zach thing, Darnold never worked out. Understood, but we got to keep kind of swinging until we get it. I mean, Washington went through it. New England got a bit fortunate with Drake, although that was a good pick. I thought he was really good out of the draft. You can get someone like a Bo Nix. We'll see how he works out. The point,
are you
though,
saying
is
the tank next year then? Because that's how you're going to get in the top 5. Like, why?
Let's
you want to go 4-13 next year? Like,
let's play a hypothetical though, right? Like, sorry to cut you off. It's your show. Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
What if, let's play a hypothetical. Okay. I'm putting negative Frankie hat on. What if we do tank next year? What if we go 2-15 and we end up drafting in the top 2 or 3 and we actually get a quarterback in 26? Does that put us in a better position, this franchise, to win a Super Bowl in the future? Does it? My answer,
I don't think so.
Why though? If you're going to get a CJ Stroud, a Jaden Daniels, a Drake, I don't know the quarterback, so I haven't done my research yet, but based on what I'm hearing and based on what I've been reading, 26 is a very stacked class that if you can get to the top, you might get that franchise player. Like, to me, I'm playing hypothetical. I know I'm going to get killed in the comments, whatever. I don't care much about 25 unless you want to bring Aaron back, bring the band back together and try it again. Okay, you can kind of convince me on that. Although I'm not sold, I'll take it, whatever. But if you're not going to do that, I don't want a bridge quarterback. I'd rather play anybody at quarterback that makes sense financially and start rebuilding this, Jake.
So that would be Tyrod Taylor for 5 games. He gets hurt.
Or Jordan Travis.
Yeah, and you're playing Travis or maybe another rookie that they drafted in the second round after, in this year's draft in 2025. That to me sounds terrible. And I'll tell you why.
Why though? Like, why?
Because
we're not in a position to
there's no guarantee that the quarterback in 2026 will be any good. And then you're starting with a rookie quarterback in 2026.
Well, we don't have a quarterback for the future anyway. So at least give yourself the best chance to get a game-changing franchise quarterback. Where are we going to find one, Jake? We're going to be having this conversation for the next 2, 3, 5 years.
Frankie, where was Patrick Mahomes picked? Where was Deshaun Watson picked? Where were some of the best quarterbacks? I bring up Watson because he was part of that class, and he wasn't You know, he was the second or third quarterback taken in that class, right? Like Mitch Trubisky went before Mahomes. Like I don't believe in tanking for the quarterback. They've done this. They've failed. Try and win. Where was Lamar picked? Where were all these quarterbacks around the league picked? There's multiple ways to find a quarterback beyond just have the worst or second worst record in the league and take a quarterback. Look at Bo Nix. And also, if you hire a good
great
coach,
systems, by the way. Lamar going to Baltimore, they always have a good system.
Right.
Mahomes, they're with Andy Reid and Alex Smith.
Frankie,
Knicks with Payton. You got to build the system before you get the quarterback right,
Frankie,
too, is also part of this.
Look what Baltimore did, though. They still had Flacco, and they traded back to the end of the first round and took Lamar, and he didn't have to play right away. There's multiple ways to get a quarterback. If the Jets identify someone, let's say it's Jalen Milroe, who's got a lot of talent, but he's raw, maybe they trade back into round one and get their quarterback, and he plays behind or sits behind Aaron for a year, or if it's Tyrod or whoever. But I can't fundamentally agree with throwing away next year, because if you hire a good coach and then you're going to tell me that coach is going to win 2 or 3 games, you're not going to feel very good about that coach. A first-year coach could not come to the Jets, win 2 or 3 games, and survive that. They would be gone. The fan base would be irate. You can't sell me on that. And every good player on this team would want out. You have to try and win. Look how many games they're in this year. Look how many games they would have won if they had better coaching this year. This team is not that far away from being competitive next year. Why can't they do what Denver's doing this year, or what the Chargers are doing this year? Like, I don't think it makes any sense to completely throw away next year, like what you're saying. Try and win, man. It's football. It's a year-to-year league.
Yes, if Rodgers comes back, I agree with you. If Rodgers is back, you have to try to run it back one more year. Again, this is a 1-year window. You're going to be in a bad spot in 26 if you don't win a Super Bowl. Just understand that. Like, I think not enough people understand that. If he's not coming back is where my hypothetical kicks in.
Forget the Super Bowl, though. How about be a good team? They haven't won 10. They haven't had a winning record in a decade. End the
Jake,
playoff drive.
Why is
Build
the
a winning
phrase, the
mentality.
worst place to be in sports is being stuck in mediocrity? Why is that a phrase? Why? Why is that said in every sport?
But I think every sport is different. Every situation is different. With where the Jets are, you're advocating for another nightmarish season. They'd have to be worse than they are this year. How would that be possible with better coaching?
I'm just saying it. I'm saying it in a hypothetical. I would be fine with that if we're drafting at the top in 26 and getting maybe a franchise quarterback. I don't get how that's crazy. I want a franchise quarterback. Rodgers is here for 1 more year, maybe. If not, who's your franchise quarterback? Where are you going to find one? Is my question. Like,
Frankie,
my scenario gives you an opportunity to do that in 26.
Your scenario is a nightmare. Throwing away
for 1 year. We've been going through nightmares for 14 years.
There's
Who cares?
Talent on this team. Why are we throwing? Like, do you not remember
That's
2009?
You're going to alienate the talent.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
but Jake, we're not winning with any of
regime.
these guys, man.
You are winning, Frankie. Maybe you're not winning a Super Bowl, but there's value in making the playoffs and giving this fan base a fun season and not looking at mock drafts in October, which in your scenario, that's what they'd be doing. And by the way, when they tried this in 2020, they couldn't even tank right. They won too many games, and it cost them Trevor Lawrence.
Which is
how's that
a
worked
normal
out,
thing for us.
So, like, and if the Jets had Trevor Lawrence, they were not going to win a Super Bowl either with that guy. He's the very definition of mediocre. Like, I cannot believe you're such a big Jet fan and you want to just throw away next year. We don't even know who the top quarterbacks are other than Arch Manning. That's it. We don't know.
Jake, I am hearing Jets fans, content creators talking about they cannot sit through another losing year for like selfish fan interest. I think you take a few steps back to take more steps forward. That's what rebuilding is. It's a part of the process.
Why are they rebuilding, though? Why
because
are they rebuilding?
we have contracts to give out. We don't have a quarterback.
Not yet.
We don't have a head coach. We don't have a GM.
You'll get a head
what do you
coach.
think?
That's the whole point.
What if the head coach isn't good?
What do you mean? What if the head coach?
I'm saying we're making hype.
Frankie,
Jake,
if the head coach is good, you're not going to be in position to have the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft next year to do what you're saying.
Okay.
Get one of the quarterbacks.
And Rodgers comes back.
Even if Rodgers is not back, they're not going to be the worst team in football next year. Look how many games they could easily have won this year if they just had competent place kicking. If the defense wasn't a sieve since they fired Saleh, they're not going to be a 4-win team next year. By accident, they can win 5 games next year.
Jake, we've watched this team this year. They've looked good at times, but do they seem like they're competitive to beat the best?
Frankie,
competitive based on losing. Yes, we've lost 7 games, 1 score.
I know the NFL in fourth quarter blown leads.
Yeah, but Jake, that's the Jets. That's the
coaching.
problem.
That's what we're talking about.
Do you think coaching in 1 year, though, is going to automatically? It's going to take time.
No,
you have to hire new positional coaches.
Do you remember 2006 when the man genius came along? The Jets were supposed to be awful after a 4-win season.
It happens.
It happens all the time. Look at
You're
Denver.
You're just looking at then a perfect scenario for 1 year then.
No, I'm looking at being a good team next year with a real coach and trying to not lose on purpose for a quarterback. We have no idea if he's any good. We have no idea.
Jake, I'm not saying lose on purpose.
You're saying tank for the quarterback.
No,
that's what you're saying.
I'm saying do not go if Rodgers doesn't come back. Don't go and get Kirk Cousins. Don't get a bridge quarterback to keep things at 7-8 wins. I'm sick of that. Build it the right way is my point.
What does that
Build
mean,
it organically. Organically means you're not pushing a product that isn't ready to actually win and then seeing them be mediocre.
Do you mean the Super Bowl? That's the only thing? There's no value in making the playoffs? There's no value in winning a division?
Of course there's value in making the playoffs.
It's only the Super Bowl? And no value in getting guys experience learning how to win, playing in a playoff game? There's no value
but your quarterback, you make the playoffs next year, your quarterback's going to be with Rodgers, he'll be gone.
So how did the Bills do it? Eventually, they moved off of Tyrod after they made the playoffs, and they traded up, and they got Josh Allen. The Jets traded up.
How many top 10? How many picks have they? They drafted E.J. Manuels before that. They've been drafting in the top 10 for years. They got it right. That's how you sometimes have to do it, is what I'm saying. It's not. How's that crazy? I don't know.
Because there's multiple ways to quote unquote get it right. And if you remember, in 2009, the Jets traded up from the late teens all the way to number 5 to get Sanchez. There's multiple ways of getting the right quarterback without having to tank to do it. Some of the best teams in the league didn't tank. Look at some of the best teams in the league.
Fair enough. But why is it so nightmarish to look at 25 and not be competitive to build for a better future? Like, why?
Because there's no guarantee
I know
of a
we
better
need
future.
to see the wins to get to 7-8. Enough. Like, enough. Let's build this the right way.
Frankie, they have been
give Rodgers another year if you want.
Way.
I'm not totally against that. I think it's just the wrong move. I think you're going back with your ex for a third time, not a second time, a third time. Do it. Go ahead. And then if it doesn't work, you don't win a Super Bowl, right? Then where are you the next year? You might have to get another bridge quarterback. You're not going to have one on the roster. Tyrod will be gone.
Or it's a better quarterback class. And did Denver trade up to take Bo Nix? They picked the best player. They found their guy. Like,
that's fine. If you're able to prove to me or you're able to sell me on making the playoffs, I'm just saying it's not the worst thing in the world, Jake.
Frankie, I think they can make the playoffs without Rodgers. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world if, let's say, they brought in, Jameis Winston as the bridge and they're a playoff team next year. I don't think it's crazy that they could duplicate what they tried to do with Fitzpatrick after Geno was a moron and got punched out in 2015. You're ignoring the talent that's on this roster. 4/5 of your O-line is under contract. You got a franchise left tackle. You have a top 5 in the league center. You got real building blocks on this team. You got a true number 1 in Garrett Wilson. Brees is still a very good running back. Maybe not what we thought he'd be this year, but I think with a real offensive scheme, he could still be the focal point of your offense. The defense gets Jermaine Johnson back. He's under contract. Quinnen, Will McDonald, they're back. Quincy Williams, he's under contract. He's back. Sauce, Michael Carter. You're not blowing up this roster and trying to win 2 games next year. That'd be insane.
Jake, I love that. You're making me an optimist here. However, the reality.
Robbie Sabo. Wow, leadership. It's about leadership from a coaching perspective. That's it. Get that and everything else falls into place. If you hire the right regime, they're not going to lose on purpose. Like the Jets have done that.
It's not
and
about
they
losing
the
on
wrong
purpose.
Quarterback.
It's about, you don't have to spend all this money in free agency. You don't have to bring in all these pieces if you just want it to build organically. I'm not saying lose on purpose.
But that's the roster right now. A lot of the best players we're talking about were drafted by the Jets.
Jake, we may have also been overrating this roster a little bit. I know PFF, I was on in the offseason. We talked about Mike Clay ranking us the best roster in football. Maybe these guys aren't as good as we think they are. Let's just call a spade, especially with the injuries that are hitting players like AVT. Jermaine's going to come back next year with an Achilles. Sauce has had a down year. Quinnen has been okay. I mean, I would bring back Sherwood. I love Jamie Sherwood. If you want to convince me on anybody, that dude's all over the field. I love that player. I think he can cover a third of the field. I'd bring him back, sign him back. We need DNs that can actually stop the run. We need another tackle that can stop the run. The O-line is fine, but you still need to figure out what you're going to do if Morgan Moses is back or not. I don't know what this Adams thing. You need another receiver.
One starter. Frankie, they
or
needed
two.
three
You need a
this past
tight end.
Offseason. Okay, they need a tight end. I'd bring Conklin back on a 1-year deal because he's the best of what's in free agency, and I would draft someone and start thinking long-term about that position. Like, Frankie, this conversation is nuts.
This team is not in a win-now mode, though.
But no one's saying win now like how they were all in this year to win the Super Bowl. Adjust your expectations, though. Have a winning season. You're going to bring in a new coach. The first thing you want this new coach to go through is a 2-win season where he's lost complete faith from everyone in the fan base. You then worry about Woody meddling at that point and this continuing to be an absolute bleep show. Come on, man. That's not what you should do. Had the Lions turn their team around. Had they turn it around. They never tanked. They tried to win as many games as possible, and they built up their team.
I'm saying in a hypothetical world, getting a top pick so you can get a quarterback is always a quick fix or a real fix to actually put together a team that could win a Super Bowl. That's my only point.
Only if that quarterback right away as a rookie plays as well as Stroud did last year, and now look at his regression this year, or Jaden Daniels this year. It doesn't happen that often. Those are outliers. That's not the norm. Most guys struggle as rookies. So you're tanking next year, and then we get to 2026. You're playing a rookie, and you're going to expect that guy to be any good in year one. That's another losing year. Just like that, the playoff drought's now at 17 years and counting. Why am I going through that?
I don't think it's it's not that serious, this drought thing. That's not the goal to me. I don't care about the drought.
But you have to get somewhere.
Of course, we are not rebuilding this, in my opinion, looking at everything. This is my opinion. You clearly disagree. I don't think we're rebuilding this the right way. I think there's pressure to win, and to win what? To maybe make the playoffs. I don't think they're putting together the right team, the right leadership behind.
They don't have a
team.
GM or coach yet. How do you know
that's
what the
my
leadership
point.
is?
We're at this spot, but why do I care about 25? What is
because
what's
you
going to
want to see
happen
if
in
you
25?
have a coach. If you hire, you want to see if there's improvement. You want to feel confident in the leadership on this team.
Jake, you don't need to make the playoffs in a head coach's first year to feel like they're improving. It can take some time. I just think now,
but that's not what you're arguing. You're suggesting winning 2 or 3 games to get a top 2 pick to get one of these quarterbacks.
I'm saying
you don't think there's value if the Jets could go 9-8 next year, and if they don't make the playoffs, have a winning record. You don't think there's value in playing meaningful games down the stretch?
Well, versus
you want to hire Liam Cohen, and then his first year he's going to look overwhelmed as this team wins 2 games, and that's your grand plan? How's it working for Brian Daboll?
What about the quarterbacks in the top of 26? Are you just going to you want to ignore that altogether? Who's your quarterback?
I will trade up. I will trade.
We don't have a quarterback.
Okay, Frankie. Maybe.
So who's the quarterback then?
I'll trade up for a quarterback,
okay.
or how about
assets.
this?
Hopefully, you can trade up.
Yeah, or they did it with Sanchez. They did it for Darnold. Why can't they trade up? Or how about this? Here's maybe a scenario you're not thinking about. Why not draft someone this year that sits? Maybe it's a guy in late one. Well, that's what I think would happen here. I don't think they just bring Rodgers back and they're all in. I think they would still add to the quarterback room. They're going to take a dart throw, but not just like a Jordan Travis in round 5. We're talking about maybe end of round 1, maybe in the second round. We're not going to tank next year.
I just come from a different camp where, to me, I want this team.
You want to lose.
I don't want
to be miserable.
You want
to bathe in your own filth. You want the stench of losing to continue. That's what you want. That's what you're saying.
No. I want to stop pretending that everything's fine and we could do this again, and going back to the X again, that things are going to work out when they haven't. And I want to say, you know what? I'm going to spend a year by myself. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read books. No one's going to see me for a year. And then I'm going to come back the following year and be the best looking bachelor on the market. Okay.
This is,
that's my goal.
I love you, but this is your worst take you've ever had.
Really?
I mean,
okay. Maybe you're right.
This is brutal.
It's a hypothetical. I don't want, listen, you think I want the Jets to win 2 games next year?
Yeah,
I don't.
You do.
I'm saying it's better. It's a better long-term situation where you start doing that and rebuilding to get the quarterback than it is to play like midfield.
This is not a rebuild. This is not 2020 with Douglas just getting here.
It might be a rebuild. It might be a rebuild. We have a new coach and a new GM. Rodgers may not be back. You have no quarterback coach or GM. How's that not a rebuild? Dude. I think you're a little delusional of what's going on here.
How many games would they have won this year with a real coach or a competent place kicker?
I've heard people say that they would have won 8, 9. I don't know. Maybe
you don't
8,
think they could
9.
be 9-6 right now conservatively?
No, I don't. I don't think they know how to win. I think when the lights get bright in prime. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Hire a good coach. Maximize the talent on this team. That's what we're talking about. You can't win without a good coach anyway. So you want to hire a coach that's going to suck because you're losing on purpose and win 2 games?
No, I want to rebuild it the right way. That's all I said. And I said, hypothetically speaking, if you can guarantee yourself a better quarterback option in a stacked quarterback class that they're talking about in 26, you're better off to win a Super Bowl. Like, does anybody want to do that? I don't care about making the playoffs. I don't. I care about winning a Super Bowl. That's the goal. Building a dynasty should be the ultimate goal. We don't ever think about that. We just want to beat the Jaguars on a Sunday or beat the Patriots last year to feel good about ourselves. It's wrong, Jake. I'm telling you, we're settling for meaningless Sunday wins, meaningless. And that's like our Super Bowl. Why don't we start thinking a little bit in actuality? Because there's 31 other teams trying to do the same exact thing that we're doing. We're not the only team in the league. They're all doing what we're trying to do. And we're eluding ourselves with this Rodgers thing again. And I'm down with it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. But I'm sick of it. That's why the Jets have been the Jets, because we're doing stuff like you're saying, in my opinion.
What? Trying to hire a real coach and win games next year and not tank? The best teams in the league didn't need the tank.
I'm not. You want to bring? Listen, if you want to bring Vrabel here and Rodgers for a year, I'm fine with that. I said in a hypothetical world, if Rodgers isn't here, I would rather get a better pick in 26 to get a quarterback. You're going to need a quarterback if Rodgers comes back anyway. Jake, a lot of Jet fans agree with me on this, by the way. Not as many as agree with you, but I talk to a lot of Jet fans that agree with. They don't want to say it because they're looked at as like negative fans, but this is kind of the reality we're in right now. I'm pissed off. The Rodgers Achilles.
Why is that the reality, though? I don't think this team needs to tank. We don't even know who the top quarterbacks are next year. We knew forever Trevor Lawrence was can't miss. We knew that he was going to be coming out, and it was different. That team stunk. That roster was horrible. We knew what was coming.
How did the Patriots get Drake May?
The Patriots
with what pick?
They were bad, dude.
Yeah,
that's how they got him.
Why were they? Did you see their receivers that year? Did you see their quarterback, who they had playing quarterback?
Yeah, because
you think they were trying to win that year?
Dude,
were the Commanders trying to win when they had their quarterback carousel the year before they got Daniels?
You think teams don't cap space? That's what we're talking about.
We're not going to have much cap space either.
Oh my God, they do though. That's what we're talking about here.
If we restructure certain players and it's not. We're not in like some great cap situation.
Frankie, what you're advocating for and comparing it to New England is insane. And also,
no,
how do you
it's
even
not
know
at
Drake
all.
May's any good? How do you even know he's any good?
He's good?
Sam Darnold was great as a rookie too. He outplayed Josh Allen. How's that worked out for them? Like, come on, man. This is nuts.
Damn, the chat's killing me. They go, I'd rather listen to Faria. Oh boy. This guy, Frankie, has a losing mentality. No, I have a mentality that can maybe get us in the right situation with a little more patience.
Oh, dude. This franchise has won Super Bowl since 1969. They have not made the playoffs since 2010. And you want to bring in a new regime and then win 2 games next year to maybe hit on a quarterback. Maybe. When you have no clue. You could draft the next Zach Wilson. You have no idea. How was the 2021 draft class? What were the Jet options? They didn't take Wilson. Oh, they could have taken Trey Lance. That would have worked out great. Oh, they could have taken Trevor Lawrence. That would have worked out great. Oh, they could have taken Mac Jones. That would have worked out great. You have no idea. We have no idea what the class is next year and what they're going to be.
In your scenario, 25 kicks around, you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then what happens in 26?
I will assess what I already did in the previous offseason. Did I draft someone this year? Is that guy ready to play? Or I will maybe do what the Tampa Bay Bucks did after Brady. I'll try and find
a bridge quarterback.
I'll try and find that Baker Mayfield guy and see if maybe there's upside there, or find that Sam Darnold guy and see if there's upside. Or if I can't find that guy, I'll do what the Jets did in 2009. I'll be aggressive.
You think the Bucks and Baker, you think they're going to win a Super Bowl in that little operation?
Frankie, would you rather be the Bucks or the Jets?
I'd rather be the Bucks 100%.
So
but my point is,
why are we
not building?
It is building. You need to build
a
winning culture. You can't just go from shitty to hitting on a quarterback and then automatically you're a
no, of course
contender.
not, Jake. It takes years. I understand that.
It's been years, bro.
Listen,
you're talking about a 2-win season.
I don't see a solution at quarterback. That's my issue. I want a long-term quarterback, and I'm sick of even thinking about
2026.
Bridges.
There's no solution in 2026. You don't know that. You have no idea. You know one guy that's coming out next year, and Arch Manning. We don't know. We have no idea. Drew Allard's going to be a top 10 pick this time next year. I have no clue. We don't know. Remember, Matt Barkley was going 1-1. That was a day 3
You have
pick.
Jalen Daniels. You have the kid Garrett from LSU. I mean, there's some good quarterbacks coming out in that year.
Dude, a Super Bowl or nothing mentality is what you have, and that's just crazy to me as a Jet fan. You got to learn how to win. This team needs to win games. This fan base deserves that.
Yeah, we keep trying, and it's working wonderfully.
Because they keep getting the coaching hire wrong, man. You really think this team would be 4-11 if they had a real head coach?
I think we've been trying to retool for a few years now. This Rodgers thing was like a retooling experiment or like an upping the ante card.
No, Frankie, the Rodgers thing was because they fucked up the second pick of the draft, which is your plan. Do the Zach Wilson thing again, hopefully this time we maybe get lucky and hit on it.
And then at that point, you actually start to rebuild if you're not able to do anything. And we didn't because we brought Aaron in, and that just put duct tape over the problem.
No, it put a solution on the table. They won 7 games 2 years ago. So you thought adding Aaron Rodgers would do what it did to the Tampa Bay Bucks when they won 7 games and replaced Jameis Winston with Tom Brady and then won. That's what we're talking about, man. It didn't work. It didn't work, but that was the idea. And the reason why they had to do that is because they absolutely screwed up the Zach Wilson pick. That's why. And that's what you're now advocating for a year
I'm
from
not
now.
advocating to draft Zach Wilson. I'm saying put yourself at the table like the Commanders did, like the Patriots have done, like the Bengals did. Put yourself at the table to get a franchise quarterback. We don't have one. Get us at that table. That's all I want. I'm more about that than I am about these hypotheticals with coaches and this player and this bridge and what this player could do on a talent scale. I'm good. I've been listening to this stuff for years. It never works. And we don't have anything here from a quarterbacking standpoint, from an OC standpoint. That's good enough. So that's fine. You want a defensive-minded head coach, another one, like most fans. You guys want to go through the same thing again.
I want
keep
a good
going.
coach.
And I'm sorry I'm being rude. I'm not trying to be a jerk today. I'm just a little tired.
Coach. I want a good coach. Mike Vrabel's a good coach. That's why Brian Flores is a good coach. That's why I want him. You're just loving the idea of being bad forever. Just keep tanking and get the quarterback.
Maybe I'm getting old, Jay.
For the chance of maybe finding a Jaden Daniels. And like, by the way, worked out great for the Texans last year with Stroud, but now I know plenty of people in Houston. They're like, what's going on? You never know,
it's
man.
1 year.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not like you just get the quarterback and then like all is great. Like, sure, maybe the Jets could suck next year and then Arch Manning's a Jet and he's the next Patrick Mahomes. Or maybe he's terrible. You have no idea, man.
I agree. You also have no idea in your scenarios too. We all.
But my
don't
scenario
have
is
any
called
ideas.
trying to win and take advantage of a talented
My scenario
roster.
is trying to win a Super Bowl with a franchise quarterback. Like most of the time, you need, unless you're going to do what the Eagles did or the Ravens. By the way, 2 very top line franchises. I'm trying to do what a team,
how about the Lions?
bottom of
I
the
think the
barrel
Lions are now a top
franchise that the
franchise.
Jets are. We're a bottom of the barrel franchise.
So were the Lions.
Don't get it twisted.
So were the Lions.
Yeah, and the Lions hit on everything they needed. GM, OC, head coach, quarterback, running backs that they've drafted, offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Maybe we can. All right, let's hope so. Maybe
did the Eagles tank to build their team? Where was Jalen Hurts drafted?
Second round.
Right, so that's what I'm talking about, man. There's multiple ways to build your football
team. The Eagles
team.
did end up with Carson Wentz. You remember the second overall pick?
And they pivoted. Yeah,
they did, but they still were up there for a reason.
I mean, in the second round?
I'm saying with Wentz, the Eagles have had.
That was a while ago, though. That was a different regime. Like, we're talking about now, like the current version of the Eagles. And Wentz wasn't good.
But I'm saying
they missed on Wentz.
Teams try to trade up in the top 5 to get quarterbacks. I'm with you there. There's a reason for that. It's the most important position on the field. I'm just trying to optimize our ability to get a franchise quarterback. That's it. I want one. I'm down with Rodgers for another year if you want. I'm more against it, but if you want it and fans want it, I'm cool. I'm down with it.
No,
let's try to
run
I'm
down
it back.
for Frankie.
But I'm not
down for trying to win
we're going to
games.
find the quarterback. Yeah, and I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, and you're giving me no options really at the quarterback position.
Dude, I'm gonna end this here because I got a bunch of super chats to get to. But
all right.
Final point here, Frankie. I've given you a ton of options. I've said you take someone this year. Maybe you trade back into the first round. You take someone in the second round. I have said you sign someone like a Baker Mayfield, that type of quarterback after Rodgers is gone, and then maybe you get the quarterback in 26. Maybe you trade up in the first round to get the quarterback in 26. Like, it's a better quarterback draft class. Like, that's what the Vikings did, if you recall. That's what a bunch of teams have done. They move up. The Chiefs traded up to get Mahomes, and he didn't play in year one. The Bills traded up to take Josh Allen. So this idea that the only way to get a quarterback, the best chance to do it, is to be bad enough to be in the top 2, that's just not true. There's multiple options, and I keep giving you all these options. And the
Bills have been building for a while with Josh Allen back there. They've gone through a lot with Josh Allen. It hasn't been easy, so it happened. I'm just saying it takes some time. That's my whole point.
Right.
This whole win now.
The Bills need to hit on the coach.
Insane. It's just crazy to me.
It's not win now, Frankie. It's trying to not tank. You're advocating for another nightmarish 2 or 3 win season.
I'm saying if hypothetically, I'm not advocating for it. I said if it happened hypothetically, it would not be the worst thing in the world. That's all I said. I did not advocate for it. I don't want to watch 2 wins. Trust me. I've watched enough losing. I said hypothetically, if that were to happen in 26, you can maybe get a franchise quarterback that will thus help you in the future to maybe win a Super Bowl. That's all I said. I don't get how that's at all so controversial because we can't sit through more losing like we haven't. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy. Maybe I am.
Well, Frankie, I appreciate you hopping on. This was a battle. I enjoyed it.
Oh, this is good. I like battling with you. Sorry if I came a little hot, but we gotta.
You gotta do, go. Man. Now, if the Jets win 2 wins next year, though, I'm gonna congratulate you and say, awesome, man. You got what you wanted. I hope you enjoy the stench of losing because it will never end. We'll take the next Zach Wilson, and the cycle will continue.
No, I appreciate it, Jake. Appreciate you, and you got the best fans. So I know they hate me, but it's okay.
It's all good.
Be the first time.
It's all good. I appreciate you hopping on. Frankie V, everyone. U Stadium. You might not. I vehemently disagree, but Frankie's a good dude, and he's always welcome on this show. I got a bunch of super chats here. What's crazy is Mimosa. Holy crap! 20 memberships. The chat exploded with the Frankie stuff, so I don't even know who got them. But I promise you, Mimosa, you will have 20 raffle tickets with your name on it. In fact, hold on. Wow. I'm doing the memberships first. A 20 spot from Peter Castro. So now that's 40 memberships added in the show. A 5 spot from John. Are you kidding me? A 50 spot from Jeffrey. Jeffrey, we will make sure that you get your 10 raffle tickets in your name. Can't get from my tablet, so please convert this to some memberships. I love the Jets and just about every great fan. Here's wishing all the great people in this chat, and there is a lot, and you, Jake, a very prosperous new year. Jeffrey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you a ton. Snowball says, Jake, can I Venmo for the ring? Getting a new credit card due to fraud. I want to renew my vows with it. Give some membership, Snowball. If you do it during Venmo, that works too. I'll put you down. The big fella, send Frankie to the hole. Big fella, Frankie has reached Jake Klein level misery. Nate with a super chat. Hello, new coach and GM. We're trying to lose. Let us know how we can help. Good luck. Woody, this isn't Madden. You can't just try to lose in Sim 2025. Like that, it's not like we can just press a button and nail the quarterback pick. Like if the Jets had a guaranteed 100% chance of drafting a quarterback as good as Burrow, right? As good as Herbert, as good as Allen, Mahomes. I'd say I understand his point. But they don't. We went through this how many different times? There's no guarantee. The Lions never tanked. Frankie's like, well, look what they did. They hit on all their moves. Yeah, that's the point. Hire competent people. I hope they can make smart decisions. No GM bats 1,000, but get the coaching, get the big things right. Nail the head coach. The Lions could have a great roster, but if Dan Campbell stunk and didn't hire a good coaching staff, they wouldn't be good. It's not rocket science, man. Robbie, I read your super chat earlier. I saw it pop up in real time. Thank you, my man. J-Quest, Frankie has a futures bet on the 2045 Jets. Big fella. Out of the only 14 of the 32 starting quarterbacks right now have been drafted in the top 5, less than half. It has more to do with scouting and system than position. I can't argue with that. Jeffrey says, send Frankie to the hole. Curly, let's make history and break the 24-year playoff drought record and then start rebuilding this thing the right way. Slow and steady. Kill me. I mean, the people remember when the Bills made the playoffs, how big of a deal that was for their fans? With Tyrod, they ended the playoff drought. They weren't going to win a championship with Tyrod. They eventually traded up and got Josh Allen. But there's value in that, man. McDermott making the playoffs in that first year there showed you they have a coach. You don't think there's value in the Jets going out there and making the playoffs, even if they don't win a Super Bowl? You want to just watch a losing year again and be miserable? Think about how bad this year's been. You don't think it'd be fun to have a winning team? Okay, they can't win the Super Bowl next year. I want to win games, man. Why are we throwing away next year with talent on this team? And that's the other thing I'd push back on with Frankie. He's like, I don't think we're that close to winning. And then I bring up the Jets leading the league in the fourth quarter, or leading the NFL in blown leads in the fourth quarter. The amount of 6 points or less losses they've had, right? And to me, it's coaching. Coaching and the kicking game has been the two biggest issues this year. Tony S. says, Jake, I think what we all want to do is build an organization that will make us competitive. If Roger could be the bridge, great. If not, the new GM and head coach will figure it out. Your guess is way too negative. Your guess is way too negative. NYC, trade for J.J. McCarthy, have him sit behind AR for 1 year. That's a good idea, depending on how they feel about him and the cost. Jeffrey, bye-bye Frankie. Nate, back to Twitter and Madden. Proud Nick Shine. Yes, please. And I'm only 45 seconds in. This is in regards to the funny bounty I put on Frankie to the hole. Rick Kent, Frankie probably hates puppies too. Rick Kent, this is like Alan. This is like having Alan on as a guest. Hey, Rick Kent, the next time you gift a membership, I got quite the surprise for you, courtesy of Gator. I'll throw that out there. Nick Shine, just in case my last super chat got lost. Rick Kent, Frankie's crazy. 25. Time for Frankie to ride off into the sunset. Nick Shine, he does have nice hair. 25. Bang. Rick Kent, Frankie is mid. I'm sure Jay loves the idea of just being bad forever. Jay's another one who wants to just swim in filth. Jeffrey says, Frank, please leave. Sam, clearly Brick listens to Frankie. For the love of God, if Brick Johnson, if you're listening, listen to my plan and trying to hire a good coach and win games than Frankie's. Please. NYJ, these kind of debates are good for the fan base. KO says, Jake, I mean, no disrespect. Please mute Frankie. He doesn't understand that there's a process to this. What we need is a leader of men and a good head coach. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. Purple Belt Mike, what would JJ cost? A second? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd be willing to offer a second for JJ McCarthy. They might want more than that. Maybe it's a conditional pick, right? If he starts X amount of games, it's a second, and then it's a second and a 4 that could become a 3. Right? Something like that. Can you do maybe a pick swap in the draft depending on what? Nah, but Minnesota's really far down. That'd be a huge, huge, huge offer. I mean, Minnesota right now is slotted to pick 30th. Now that will change, but that'd be way too much. I love it. Bang. That Frankie guy is really on the beat. I did see the two people that loved that Frankie or on Frankie's side of the debate were the two curmudgeons of the chat. Allen, and then, of course, Bang Mateo. They just want to be bad forever. Allen's dream is to suck no matter what. Suck the likes of which we've never seen sucking before. Unreal. Snowball, I received your Venmo. We will get you in for the raffle for the Namath ring. I appreciate you, my man. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to debut a brand new video for the first time on this show. The great Rick Kent, one of our most generous listeners to this program, someone I've met personally now after spending some time with him in London. A great guy, a humanitarian, and for now the first time, an Asmaniac with a membership video.
It's Rick Kent.
Do you kids want a Jake Asman gift membership? Yeah! Hold on then, and away we go.
That was all Gator. I said, hey, Gator, we should make a Rick Kent video. And Gator's like, got it. And then he sent me that. And I said, not what I thought it was going to be. As long as Rick Kent likes it, I'll play it. He's like, well, what should I do for Rick Kent? And I'm like, well, you know, his emoji's kind of like he's Superman, Clark Kent, Rick Kent. I was like, what if we do it's a bird, it's a plane? No, it's Rick Kent. And then Gator instead was like, actually, let's do this.
It's Rick Kent.
Do you kids want a Jake Asman gift membership? Yeah! Hold on then, and away we go.
Unreal. 5 raffle tickets in Rick Kent's name. Unreal, man. We're presented today by Huga House. Get a Huga House hat. All right. 15% off with code Asman. 30% off after you buy one hat. HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman. Shout out to Huga House for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get to your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, Gusbuster Hotline is open. We say hello up first to Kyle Clifton. Hello, Kyle.
What's going on, Jake? We got to take down value. If we bring in the right people, coach and GM, we're going to be able to identify the Brock Purdy's, the Jalen Hurts, the Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. People who are going to get us to championship games, people who are going to get us to the Super Bowl, people who are going to get us over the hump if the team is around them. We already have good players here. Let's keep on bringing in good players. And then when the opportunity to go get a quarterback presents itself, whether it's via trade or via slot in the draft, you draft them or you trade up for them. That's how it goes. It's that simple.
So you don't want to be awful next year for the hopes of maybe finding a good quarterback?
Just because Arch's last name is Manning, that doesn't mean he's going to be Eli plus or Peyton plus. He could be Eli minus. And then the next thing you know, it's finish in the middle and draft in the middle again. So, you know, he could have a long career as a player in the league. He could be a marginal starter for 6-7 years. He could be a backup for a period of time. But there's no guarantee that Arch Manning is going to be the second coming.
I have no idea.
Or you can say that about any of these other players that we think might be pretty good. If you bring in management that can recognize a guy that they think they can win with, go get him, and that's what this is all about. And you have to build the team around them. Now, there is some truth to some of what Frankie was saying. Is there could be a chance that we're overrating some of the players on this team. It's entirely possible. Sauce.
Are they a 4-win team though with better coaching?
No,
That's what I always come back to.
By no means. But I mean, you know, we need people like Sauce to return to form. We need you know, a guy like Malachi Corley to get on the field. We need you know, not to miss on tight ends. That, you know, when we at the very least need a blocking tight end to help us free Brees, right? These are the kind of things that need to happen, and it's unfortunately, as much as I like Joe Douglas, he didn't do enough of it. So, you know, that I think that you're both well intentioned, but I think that there's a lot of luck involved, and you have to have the right team in place.
You can't win without a coach. So even if you hit on the quarterback, like, what faith would you have in any coach that's going to win 2 games in year 1? That's part of it too.
I was hoping kind of that Frankie would still be on the line. I was going to throw on my referee jersey because, man, you could cut the tension with a knife there for a minute.
Now, Frankie, I
no,
like
he's
Frankie
a good guy.
He's a good guy. I think he's nuts. Like, just talking about like that being like the best way to do it. Like, I just don't agree with that. Like the best.
No, it was an interesting dynamic. I hadn't seen that on the show before. That it was so contentious between you and a guest, but it was good pod, as they say.
Watch the Michael Lombardi sit down at the Super Bowl last year.
I saw that. Yeah. That was kind of a different story. It was more like the interview in the Super Bowl hang or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate your time as ever, Jake.
Great. All right, Kyle, I appreciate you, man. Good call. Yeah, Frankie, like, he's a good dude. He's just someone in the chat, I think, nails it, right? Frankie's gotten so used to losing. He's like, what's another year? Like, nah, man, I want to win. This team has good players on it. Like, I know a lot of Jet fans are Met fans. Imagine the Mets just gave up this year. Imagine the Jets in 2009 were just like, we're not going to be any good. We're starting a rookie quarterback. They went all the way to the championship game. And Rex proved he was a good coach. There's value in that. If you told me the Jet roster looked like it did in 2020, it would make sense what he's saying. Because you're so far away from winning. There's pieces on this team that you can win with that are part of the solution here. Look at the 1997 Jets. The year after Kotite had them 1-15. Parcells shows up there 9-7 year one, 12-4 year two. Why can't the Jets do that? Why not? We're just going to give up on the year? I can't accept that. Got to try and win games. There's too much talent on this team. Big Fella is up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Hello, Big Fella.
Hey, man. Frankie's got to go to the hole, man. He's got to. That Allen's been sent for far less than that bullshit right there, man.
Well, I actually like Frankie. Allen's a douche, so that's the only difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frankie was talking about hypotheticals. It's hypothetical that Arch Manning even comes out in 26.
That's a good point. With NIL now, you're banking on some of these quarterbacks sticking around. You have no idea. Drew Aller just stayed.
Bro, he hasn't started a full season yet. You know what I mean? He may not even come out in 26. Nico may not come out in 26 either. So there's that. Also, I mean, we have pieces on the team, right? So let's say we tank next year. I'm totally against that, but let's say we tank next year. We're going to lose these players that we got.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a high drafted quarterback who we don't know is any good.
And also, by the way, Big Fella, real quick, if you lose again next year, you proceeded to go out there and have 0 winning seasons with arguably the best draft class in Jet history. You wasted all their contracts are now no longer on rookie deals. You're deciding who you're keeping, and you wasted this window that you had with a really good young core. You didn't do anything with it. You wasted the entire thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose these good players that we have, but you'll have a quarterback that you don't know if he's going to be good or not. That makes no sense. So that's my 2 cents on that. And that's it.
I like the tank top look for you, Big Fella. You look good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Frankie to the hole, huh? Strong take.
Frankie to the hole.
See it.
He should he's the only guest that, like, I'm watching and I'm like, this guy, bro. This guy is something else. The other ones, Nick Faria, he comes out with some shit, but Frankie, when he comes on, I'm just like, I know my blood pressure can go up after this. So
I'll have him on again. I like having dissenting opinions on the channel.
No, it's good. It's good. It's entertaining. It's entertaining for sure. It's just like, I just don't get the concept of losing. Wanting to lose to get better without appreciating the stuff that you have now. We're 4-11, which sucks, but with a new coach and new GM, it should improve. So I don't know. That's my point of view.
I'll tell you what, Big Fella. I love your point of view. Great call by the Big Fella. Ladies and gentlemen, the memberships are still flying off the shelves here, folks. Wishby is in for 5. I mean, holy crap. Do we have a lot of people that want the replica Joe Willie Namath championship ring? Let's go, baby. Hit it.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
If you got a membership, thank Wishby for that. But there were so many in the chat, I can't keep up. Everyone who gifted today, just an incredible amount. Thank you all. Got a lot of tickets to add to the bucket here. It's going to be a big-time raffle. Big-time raffle. We will do it. Maybe the Saturday show, but more likely than not, probably we'll do it Monday, as we did this past week. Keep it a once a week. Harry W. says, I am 70 years old, been a Jet fan since 67. I only have so many opportunities left. I cannot afford blowing another season. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, they can't win the Super Bowl next year. Why don't we try and win and make the playoffs? Have a fun season. Enjoy watching the team on Sunday. There's value in that. Learning how to win, there's value in that. Not having the playoff drought hang over the franchise, there's value in that. You have to build it the right way. That's what Frankie kept saying. Yeah, you only could build it the right way by having good players and trying to win with said players, having the right infrastructure in place from a GM and coaching standpoint. You have no faith in those guys that you'd be hiring if you're going to go 2-15 next year. Because that's what you would need to do to have one of those picks for a non-guarantee at the quarterback spot. That's my big thing. If it was guaranteed you get the next Mahomes for being bad for one more year, I think we'd all be like, okay, we'll deal with it for one more year. But it's not. That's not how this works. Project Prospect with Dom C in the house. What's up, Dom? I understand what Frankie was saying. I think the delivery was off. Long-term success is the aim, and it's hard to do that without nailing the quarterback on a rookie contract and getting the cap in a good spot. I agree with that, but I don't think the Jets are in a bad spot cap-wise. With Rodgers, if he's here, being willing to take a pay cut, seemingly, and if he's not here, you rip the Band-Aid off now, and your cap is reset for 2026. I understand his point, too. I just don't think the Jets are that far away from having a good football team next year. I think their issues this year are coaching. That, to me, is the biggest problem. Alan writes in, I forgot that this fan base celebrated a meaningless win in New England last year. Oh, you mean when they handed Bill Belichick his last ever game in the NFL on L? But Alan, I thought that was going to cost him Olu Fashanu. That's what you told me. We couldn't win that game because we're not going to get Olu. Oh, my God. I'm Alan. That's what you said. Last I checked, they still got Olu. So we have no idea. All right? We have no clue. Oh, how could they beat the Rams? It cost them Trevor Lawrence. Great. Boo-hoo. We have no clue, man. No clue. That win last year in New England was awesome. I enjoyed it. Sending Belichick out a loser? Why not? I think it was different in 2020 because Gase was going to be gone. The team stunk from a roster standpoint. I was on board with losing that year. Once they got to 0-4, it was whenever they lost that Denver game on Thursday night to Brett Rippon. I'm like, this team sucks. This coach is a nightmare. Everyone got to go. Sorry, Sam. I love you. You're unfortunately the human sacrifice here. That's how I felt then. That's not this scenario, though, we're talking about. Also, that comment from Alan just speaks volumes about what a big loser Jet fan he is with that take. You kidding me? New bounty. Send Alan to the hole ASAP. Let's see if the chat agrees with me. We'll do 10 super chats of any color. You can do it for $1 for all I care. I'll contribute to it. God. Wish B writes in, if we have a good head coach, we can find ways to get a franchise QB after AR. No to tanking ever. Let's go Jets. It's like, find the coach, man. The Lions didn't tank to be the quote-unquote model franchise. They hired a GM and coach, hired a good coaching staff, made some smart decisions in free agency in the draft, and they built the team the quote-unquote right way. That's what we're talking about. Come on, man. More of your calls right now. Connor Long is up next. Connor, you've never seen the Jets in your lifetime be in the playoffs. You have never seen the Jets win more than what?
7 games
7
as a
games?
fan. I was alive for the 10-6 season, but I wasn't watching football in 2015. I was 4 years old when they last had a winning season.
This is what I'm talking about, people. Let's just give away another year.
Yeah, you know what I have to say here, Jake, in regards to Frankie's argument, I think Kyle and Big Fella pretty much hit exactly what I was going to say in terms of, well, first off, if you get a Thomas Dimitroff in here, if you get a John Dorsey, a good GM is able to hit on picks, whether it is in the first round or the 7th round. That is what a good GM is able to do. And also, even if you tank, let's say the Jets go out and win 2 games next season. And meanwhile, I can't root for my team to lose. That's impossible. I can't watch the Jets and root for them to lose. But let's say the Jets go 1-16, they go 0-17 somehow next season. and they they draft Cam Ward. There's still no guarantee this team is going to be contending for a playoff spot in 4 seasons. There's no guarantee that Cam Ward is going to be worth all the hype. There's no guarantee that Shedeur Sanders is going to be worth all the hype. I mean, it's a complete crapshoot, like you've said. There's no guarantee if you tank. So what good comes with that? And also, this team still has talent. Although, yes, we all know what happened last year with Rodgers' Achilles, and this season, coaching, kicking, etc., that's killed us. With good coaching, like you've said, this team is able to compete for a playoff spot. You restructure Rodgers' deal. You restructure Adams' deal. You bring those 2 guys back. I mean, this team is able to pull out, I think, a 9 or 10 win season next year. I think they have the potential to do so. But Jake, I first called in because I wanted to get your thoughts. I was thinking of today I built what I think is the ideal head coach, coaching staff and general manager hire, and I wanted to get your thoughts. I had Thomas Dimitroff as GM, Mike Vrabel as head coach, Brian Johnson, the OC, the assistant head coach and pass game coordinator from the Commanders, the work he's done with quarterbacks. DC, I had Ron Rivera, what he's done as a head coach. He has a ton of experience. And yeah, that's it. Those are the 4 guys I had.
All right, sign me up. I'm in. You got me. You got me the right GM. You got me my preference at coach. I'm in, Connor. The other stuff, I defer to Vrabel on the staff. I defer to Dimitroff on the scouts and front office personnel he wants. Get those hires right and let them go from there.
Yeah, and also one more thing. Frankie said that AVT's been awful this season. He has the 3rd lowest pressure rate in the league. So, I mean, you have 4/5 of your offensive line build. I want Morgan Moses back I want him back on a 1-year deal as a backup, though. I don't want to rely on him as a starter. Get someone in to play right tackle in free agency, and this team's able to, hopefully put together a nice season if they're well coached and they have competent kicking. But Jake, really appreciate you taking my call.
Connor, excellent job. Good takes. Wayne writes in. Wayne's a troll account, but I'll read it anyway. Jake's delusional. Still trying to justify Olu over Bowers. Justify it. I stand by it. Olu Fashanu is a franchise left tackle. That, to me, is more valuable than a tight end. And Bowers is awesome. I was never anti the prospect thinking he'd suck. I thought it would be very risky for the Jets in an all-in year with 2 aging tackles, especially Tyron Smith, who could never stay healthy. Shocking, he wasn't healthy this year. We didn't think he'd be washed, but he's always had injuries. I didn't think it made any sense to roll the dice with a tight end that high. In the history of the NFL, tight ends taken that high have not worked out. So I wanted to try and mitigate the risk and take what I thought was a legit left tackle. And I feel good about Olu. I think Olu can end up being elite. Bowers can end up being the best tight end in the sport. And I still would probably feel pretty good about Olu. I don't regret that pick at all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Allen Hull Fund is starting to tack up here. Allen alone in the hole. Loser mentality. That's from Devin. JV contributed $1. Super chats keep coming in here to get rid of Allen, which is just what you love to see for that clown Allen. He's not a Jet fan. We know he's not a Jet fan. Allen, you will love the hole. Enjoy. There we go. Hold on. I'm doing my part, guys. Stand by. I got to send in a super chat to the fund. Let that one load there. Needs to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently 6 super chats away from the hole. More of your calls right now. I know what we need to get the show back on track, get a real perspective on things, an up-close perspective on the Jets.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
I totally agree with Connor. I'm a Jet fan for a long time, as you know. I could never, ever root for my team to lose. So I'm not a believer in tanking. And I kind of enjoyed your debate war, as you put it, type thing, but really easy pickings for you. I just, couldn't really understand where Frankie was coming from. And I agree with you. I think from this morning's show, Hamburger was on, and he feels that Vrabel is the right fit, for the Jets this year. And I totally agree. He can come in, and they can have a winning season next year. Hey, 9-6 or 10 wins, not like a couple years ago when Rodgers first came in and we're looking to Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. But you got to start somewhere. Just imagine if we have a winning season next year and it's a start for down the road. Oh my God.
The goal should be to try and win with the talent they have here, David. I'm with you. Like I think you're spot on. I think to me, there's a huge coaching problem on this team, and if they get the right coach, I think you could be competitive, and you can also, quote unquote, as Frankie was talking about, build it the right way. Like the Lions. Why do I hear an echo, David?
Yes, sir. And Frankie was saying about Vrabel going to Vegas, but you know what? That's a long-term situation, isn't it? And Vrabel doesn't. Losing sucks. So he has an opportunity to come into the Jets situation and can win right away. So I just think it's attractive to him.
I think so too, and I think the Jets could give him control, and that's seemingly what he wants. And I think that's
Yes,
what you
sir.
sell him on. Pick the GM you want if he's their number one guy.
Yes, sir.
What are you up to tonight, David? Anything fun?
Oh, tonight I'm just I got your show on and just drinking a few beers, and I have to work. I have to work tomorrow. I'll get to bed early tonight and get a good night's sleep.
Well, tell you
And
what, David, I appreciate you making us part of your day. I enjoyed your first call today with your family in the background. That was epic.
yeah, they're pretty good people. I think I'll keep them.
I love it. David, you have a great night. All right. Enjoy the beers.
Thank you, sir.
I got my Iron UJ. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David, you're the man. Shout out to David T. Let's see. I want to make sure. Ace of Spades says I missed his super chat. I just checked Ace of Spade. I don't think it ever went through because I haven't seen it. But I appreciate you watching. The Oracle says send that free fan to the gulag. JV with 1, 2, 3. Are we there, folks? 2 away. 2 away. Dun, dun, dun. Devin with 2 raffle ticket entries. He's gifted not 1, but 2. Count it 2 channel memberships. How about a double bang? These I might be able to get here. F. Hassan Reddick got one of them, and Steve's Aquatics got the other one. Boom. Love to see it. Love to see it. Devin says, I want to win. Allen, to the hole you go. Damn. Nothing gets the people going quite like that. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Mimosa, who won the Curtis Martin card, is back for more. Our biggest listener from Gainesville, Florida, diehard Jet fan, has just gifted 10 channel memberships. Mimosa, you are unreal. Thank you so much for supporting the show. You want that Namath ring real bad? Well, you got 30. Count it, 30 total raffle entries in there for you. I might get paper clips or paper cuts in my fingers trying to add all those memberships, but guess what? That's what it's all about, baby. How about a 10 spot from Mimosa?
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Hell yeah. All right, here we go. Here's who got the memberships. Flight Boys, Joe M, Justin, Ray Danger, Joe Quant, D-Train, Michael Tepes, CJ Crypto, all receiving channel memberships. There might have been more, but the chat is exploding because we have some breaking news. The bounty. That was my best Nick Shine impression. Wasn't good. The bounty has officially been met. Allen, The chat has decided that they are sick of you. The chat has decided that they don't want to see your comments come up anymore. And let me tell you, I think they made an outstanding decision.
Now look what you've done, Alan. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
We'll see you later, Alan. Vinny, thank you. Unreal, man. What a show it's been. I know who we need to have on to react to Alan being sent to the hole. Let's say hello to someone who I would say he knows Alan pretty well. He's gone head-to-head with Alan many times. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along.
B-Mac. Look at my TV. B-Mac. I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go Jets.
Hey, Jake. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, B-Mac. I think I gave you well, it wasn't me. I think the Asmaniacs gave you a Christmas present by sending your arch nemesis to the hole.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to call in. Because I watched this show last year, and I know you said about. I mean, I paid attention to the show from all last year, and I know you said that he wanted Olu. No, his man crush was Joe Walt or Joe from the.
Yes, but
yeah.
if you remember last year, he was all about Alt and Fashio being the only plug and play left tackles in the draft. Everyone else was a right tackle. Those are his words. Boomtown went back and found all the takes. They're all documented, all that. So I always bring that up to Alan when he talks about meaningless wins as an example of you just never know how it's going to play out. Like we all talk about, oh, you got to tank for this player. We have no idea. It's all about picking the right player, not where you pick. It's who you pick.
Yeah, I mean, and another example is the Packers. You know, when Rodgers left, me and some other Packer fans was like saying like, oh, you know, there's no way we're gonna win with Jordan Love next year. It's gonna be like a 3-year rebuilding process, and then the year, Love's first year, 9-8, and then now the second year, 11-4. You know, 2 back-to-back playoffs. Same thing with Rodgers took over for Favre. You know what I mean? I think they had like 1-6-10 season, and then the next year winning season, and then the second year the Packers won the Super Bowl. So like you never know. And there's still talent on this team. That why can't this team be like the Broncos of this year or the Chargers of this year? You know, win games, be competitive, complete for a playoff spot. I mean, it can definitely happen next year. But I want to say is that your guest Frankie is Peanut Head's stepson, because you can tell they all, because he sounded just like him, just like Peanut Head. And Peanut Head is not a Jet fan; he's a Charger fan. He's a Detroit Lion fan, and he's a Buffalo Bill fan. So take out. So he's a fan of 3 teams: Chargers, Bills, and Detroit. So that's some exposure for him. And then one thing. Oh,
what?
No. It was gonna we respond to it.
Respond to what?
No, about Peanut Head being of 3 teams: the Chargers, Bills, and the Detroit.
Yeah, he's not a real Jet fan. He takes great pride in the Jets losing. He loves it.
Yeah, and then my next question is Jets. It's about Garrett Wilson and Rodgers. Do you think there's tension between those two in the locker room? Do you think those two are not on the best of friends? Because it seems like this is like a Terrell Owens and a Donovan McNabb kind of thing.
No, I don't think it's that bad. I think Garrett's frustrated with losing. He wants to be targeted more. I understand his frustration this past week. He wasn't targeted until really the last drive. He only had 3 until that last drive. We'll see. Devontae might not play this week, so it could be a lot of Aaron and Garrett. So, I mean, there was a game this year Garrett got targeted 22 times. He's 4th in the NFL in targets. It's been less since Devontae got there, but, I think at the end of the day, it's guys who are hyper-competitive that want to win. And I wouldn't sit here and say it's anywhere close to T.O. and McNabb,
All right. Well, that's it. Merry Christmas.
Now, before you go, B-Mac.
Sure.
There's something I have to share with you.
Yeah.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Sing along.
He's from the West Coast, the golden blonde beauty. Can't live without him. This guy makes me freaky. Aaron, the quarterback, is everyone's sweetie. If he leaves his girlfriend, he'll be my next beefy. Aaron.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, Nook, man. 8 is still my boy. I love 8. I know that there's a lot of people in the chat that's against him. What's going on this year? But I still think that the Jets should run it back with him. He's your best option, and I think with this version of him and with better coaching and better defense and better special teams, this team can be this year's LA Chargers. And so, but I love it. That's a remake of the Bobby and Sarah thing. But I gotta admit mine is better than Bobby's. But now I'm a little nervous because now people think I'm gay now because of that now, but which I'm not. I'm straight.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Oh, B-Mac, I think that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Is yours? Is yours?
Well, I really don't play it too much anymore because Hawk and Sarah are a couple, so I don't play that anymore. So I respect them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, I could be your daddy. You don't have to apologize.
She's from Australia, the golden blonde beauty. Can't live without her, that girl makes me freaky. Sarah the angel is everyone's sweetie. If she dumps her husband, I'll be her next beefy. Sarah.
I still look like Al from Home Improvement with that shirt on. Do you ever watch Home Improvement? Do you ever watch Home Improvement? Home Improvement.
No.
You never watched Home Improvement?
No, I never watched.
Wife.
Yeah, I don't like ham sandwiches. Then one night, I did a show till like 2:00 in the morning. I was so tired, and I thought that was Gary's wife. Oh my God, it was Gary himself. Oh my freaking word! Oh, is that Gary's wife? Hi, Gary's wife. Oh, that's yours. Got a good looking. Oh my God, that was.
Bobby, how was your Christmas?
Good. We went over to my parents' house early in the day, and we had some dinner with them, and they gave us $100 each because my mother just had surgery, and they didn't get a chance to go out shopping, so they said just have this, and I had spaghetti and meatballs that day, so I'm still on my diet, but it was my cheat day, so it was good.
You do a Christmas carol, a Christmas carol?
Jake, do you want me doing one? Jake,
a Christmas carol.
Well, I know it's Jake's show. You could come on to my show when I sing one. Okay, that's not part
Okay.
of Jake's show. If you want to come
Do
tonight,
it. Do it. Do it.
okay, thank you, Jake. I will do it. I gotta find what song do you like?
Maybe do a Santa Claus is coming to town.
All right, we could do that. To get to the YouTube.
I have to go right after this performance, though. I have plans. So, Bobby, you'll
No.
close us out, all right?
Okay, we could do that. Okay.
All right. All right. This better be good. But hold on. Let me just shout out a membership here from Tiffany. 5 raffle tickets in her name. Tiffany, thank you. Double bang for that. OG Jet Fan Jim, Steve Gurdon, Underrated Darkness, Devin Sarno, and Net Mover, all receiving channel memberships. Thank you, Tiffany. I'll get you down for the raffle. Bobby, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Yeah, I'm looking up the song. Hold on a minute.
How about you sing like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Something easier.
No, I got it. I just need the words to it. I don't know every song. All right, I got it right here. Hold on.
All right, I'm holding on.
That's what she said.
Is it?
That's what she said. All right, got it. I got it. Got it. Okay, ready, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. No, it starts out with a you know what. Gotta wait for this stupid thing. Okay, gotta wait for this stupid, you know what I'm talking about.
The chorus?
No, you gotta wait for the ad that comes up every time.
What's wrong with your internet today? It looks like you're like very pixelated.
Man, yeah, maybe. Oh, this is from you know who? I'm not seeing that part. This is from the boss, I think. You ready, guys? Okay, just get to the song, dumbass.
Who are you talking to?
No, I'm listening to the boss singing it. He starts it. He starts. I don't know where it starts at.
Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, he sings one. You
All right.
better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a little list. He's checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sakes. Get back good for goodness sakes. That's the chorus. Shout, you better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. And the Claus is coming to town. Oh, ho, ho, ho. He sings a lot different than other people. Sorry, guys. No. Man, he dragged the song on forever. God, get to the goddamn singing. Shut up. He's you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been good. Better good. You've been good for goodness sakes. You better watch out for it. For goodness sakes. You watch out. You better not cry. Better not have. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. And the Claus is coming to town. Okay, get it over with. You sound like you're constipated. I swear that. Go. You know, he's the slowest thing in the freaking world. And the closest coming to town. Santa Claus is 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 coming to town. Okay, man, he sounds like he's having sex during something. Coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Okay, I that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
I got a migraine listening to this guy. I like Bruce Springsteen, but he screws up that whole song. He's like, he sounds like he's either constipated or having sex. That's
Maybe
what
both.
it sounds.
He's not any good, that Bruce Springsteen. He stinks, right? He's not
No,
a good
I
singer.
like he's born in the USA.
No. Bruce is not. I'll take Bobby Midnight over the Boss.
No, I think the Boss is better than me.
All right, Bruce is no Billy Joel. Let's be honest, folks. Come on now.
I love Billy Joel songs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's that one called with the bar? That's the best one I love.
Zanzibar?
No, you know when
Piano Man?
Yeah, Piano Man. Thank you. Yeah, Piano Man. So no, I thought that was hilarious when what's his name? B Mac was doing Aaron Rodgers. That reminded me of. But I can't really play that song anymore, me and Sarah, because Hawk is flying over there soon.
Oh yeah. Are they gonna make Sweet Love?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they're gonna get married. They have a kid together, so little Henry will have a brother or sister. I tell you, I set them up because I told him at the Jet game when I met him, get his butt over to Australia. You got an opportunity with this beautiful blonde beauty. So he listened to me. So he's going. So you're going out to dinner tonight?
I am.
We're Italian.
No, not Italian.
Where you going?
American.
What are you gonna have?
It's a mystery.
Hamburger.
Maybe a burger.
All right. Well, you have fun on your date or by yourself. I don't know which one. So I'm not getting into your private life, okay? I wish you'd start dating Carly.
Here we go.
I'm only kidding. I love you.
I love you too. Also, we've come a long way from what you said about Santa Claus the other day to singing what you just sang. I mean, this was a couple days ago, Bob.
Shut up, Dave. I can't stand Santa Claus. Shut the fuck up, Santa Claus.
No, what? And now you were singing Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, no, I love Santa Claus, but I didn't like what Dave said on your show. I was doing my show, and I just got irritated with that. I did apologize to Dave. So.
No, you did. Cool guy. He's not actually Santa Claus.
Family too.
Where is he? Well, he's not actually Santa Claus, so it's okay.
Well, he looks like Santa Claus with the beard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Nick Shine looks like Santa Claus with the beard too.
I agree. Are you calling my radio show tomorrow on ESPN New York?
Yes, I will call it tomorrow. And
all right,
it's a different guy tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll speak with. Actually, no, same guy from. When did you call? You called
Christmas Day.
I'm on no sleep this week, so you called yesterday. Yeah, Joe Leo will screen your call.
He's a great guy. I love
great guy. All right, tell him.
Who I really don't like.
Who don't you like?
I think he made up with me. The guy from The Fan.
Ronnie?
Al Dukes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. He would not let me on forever. But I did talk to him the other day. It was at the end of the show. He couldn't put me on anyway.
Right. So. I see.
He wasn't mad at me. He said, okay, we squashed the beef. So
that's good.
All right. You have a great dinner. I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to stop my show after your show.
All right.
And at 10 o'clock, guess what 10 o'clock is?
The Bobby weigh-in?
Going. Yeah, I did. Did I tell you I did call the nurse and all that?
Yes, you said it earlier.
And I got this set up with the nutritionist.
Yeah. She's going to say, don't have butter sticks 7 times a day.
I don't have butter sticks 7 times a day. I said 7 times a week, 7 days a week, but I said I would cut it down to 3. Now I'm eating cottage cheese, eggs, and drinking water. And I do take my, what still. You know what?
The vitamins, good. Big fella paid big money for those. Love it.
You know what it tastes? Tastes like minty or something. I don't know why it's so minty tasting.
All right, Bob. I got to go. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Farewell, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen,
I love
Bobby
ya.
Midnight. Love you too.
Oh, I like the Yankees and the Jets. Can't believe Jake and Rogers met. I'm more than just a hat on Bobby.
This is right up there with one of the more wild shows we've ever had. That was the most heated I think I've ever been with a guest in a debate. Shout out to Frankie for that. We gifted a ton of memberships. We got the Joe Namath replica ring. We have the Wayne Corbett rookie card. I'm going to start adding more merch items. I'm going to start adding Gustbuster umbrellas. I do have another $50 gift certificate to Copper John. So we're doing a mega raffle coming up. Maybe Saturday, if not Monday. So it's all happening, folks. Hit the like button your way out of here. Shout out to everyone who supports the show with memberships, super chats. All the calls today were great. If I didn't get to you, I promise I'll get to you next time. But the show got wild very quickly. So again, thank you, everyone. Listen to me on the radio tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Rich Samini is going to join me at 7:45. And former Jet defensive end, Leger Duzable, will join me at 9. So 2 Jet-related guests, among other topics that will be discussed tomorrow on the radio show. So stay tuned for that. All right. Join the Patreon as well. Get in the Discord. That's where it's at. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. If you're a real Asmaniac, you're on the Patreon because that's where we all get to know one another. Talk, laugh, cry, make fun of things. That's where it all happens. See Gary's ridiculous takes away from YouTube and much more. Anyway, thank you again to everybody. JETS, Jets. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow on the radio. And then I'll talk to you guys around 11 a.m. with Will Parkinson, who will still join us this week. We just moved things around a little bit. On that note, God bless you all. And to all, a good night.
Who was that lovely lady?
That was Carly.
Anyway.
Yep. Charles, I think we talked about you calling in and chewing on the air again. You couldn't wait till after your call to eat, talk to me and then you eat.
Anyway,
this is a great angle for you, Charles. Even better angle. Where are you calling us from?
Burger King in Hope Lawn.
What did you get?
A BK Royal Crispy Sandwich with Swiss cheese on it. No tomato.
I'm back. I shouldn't be, but the show goes on because Jeffrey at the buzzer with a 5 spot of channel memberships. Jeffrey, thank you. I don't have my videos ready, but I can give you this. All right, here's who got him. Good God, the show is unreal. Thank you, Jeffrey. You're the man. Carl Duncan, Argo Spidey, Joey Hauser, Pure Adrenaline Sports, Haskell 420. They got him. I think there was a super chat too. The show will never end. Dana says one day I'll figure out how to gift memberships. Dana, that you will. Thank you, everyone, again. All right. God bless America. Go Jets, the whole thing. Here's Neil thrusting a jersey because I have nothing else to play. Farewell, everybody. Go Jets.
Oh, yeah, the dream season we've been waiting for is happening.